Oh, good morning, you fine people. We are back with another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. I know you have missed me, but I am here with my guy TC Stills. But like always, let's drop the intro. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good morning, Yankees universe. KOD Nation, stand up. And all you Degens, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Thursday, March 23rd edition of the Yankees Morning Brew. We are literally on a timer. We are 7 days away from opening days. TC Stills, good morning, gorgeous. How you feeling?
Good morning. What is up, Hector? Good to see you back again. Can't
Yes,
wait. Let's
sir.
go.
I am back, baby. I am back.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys who reached out to me during this time. I was out in Florida. You know, I literally went down there to have a conversation with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone to tell them that Anthony Volpe needs to be the starting shortstop opening day season. TC, what's your thoughts on that before we get into it?
That's a no-brainer. He needs to make the opening day roster. Whether it be short or second or third, it doesn't matter. He's on the team regardless. So
Yep,
he's proven it. He's there's nothing else to do. He's
100%. Let's do a roll call real quick before I start with anybody else. I want to start off. Shout out my man, the boss, Pete Simonetti, NYY News TV. Salute. Pete, good morning, Pete. Hope all is well. Listen, also, guys, if you guys didn't see, shout out to my man Pete. TC and I, we was talking about it backstage. Shout out to Pete because he held it down during the World Baseball Classic. The last game, Japan versus the USA, 31,000 views. Simonetti, you are a monster, my guy. What's your thoughts on that, TC?
Incredible. Like we were saying, to keep an audience for over 3.5 hours and by yourself. Entertaining everybody, calling a game. He's a legend. Pete is a legend, and we both said it. He's making this community come together even better.
Oh yeah, definitely. And shout out to my man Ruben. I appreciate my man Ruben. He just messaged. This is the thing about I love Ruben, right? He'll message me like on Twitter or whatever privately to let me know. He's like, "Yo, heck, the title of the video, it doesn't have the H for Shohei Otani." So I appreciate you, Ruben, for letting me know that. Hold on, I'm gonna fix that right now. Where's it at? Wow. Oh, I had to put it in there. Thank you so much, Ruben.
Check.
Appreciate you. Thank you. That's what family does for one another. But shout out to my man Ruben. Shout out to Anthony Medina's in the chat. Anthony, I see you. My guy Sunil is in the chat. Sunil, good morning. Li Yankee King is in the building. Li, what it do? Delano Still Jr. is in the building. G-Man for life is in the building. G-Man, I see you. G-Man, what's your thoughts on the Giants maybe getting D. Henry? Hopkins. Ooh. What's your thoughts on that, D. Hopkins? Mr. Steve Schumann is in the building. Steve, you were literally somebody that I was talking about backstage, Steve. We got to figure out the technical difficulties, get you back on the panel. Tyler Tabbitt is in the building. Mr. Bradley Jewish is in the building. Ivan Manny, how you doing, my man? Ivan Manny, hope all is well. My man Pete said, doing well, guys. Thanks, absolute. And of course, we cannot forget the famous Li Yankee King. My man Li Yankee King is in the building. How you doing with those million trades you be throwing out there? But TC, we here, bro. We are literally 7 days away from opening day, the first game of the season when it comes to the Yankees and the San Francisco Giants. Right now, there's a game later on today at 1 p.m. Anthony Volpe is leading it off. If Anthony Volpe was to make the opening day roster, is having him in the leadoff spot something that you could see for the future?
He is the perfect leadoff hitter for this team. That's a dream scenario for me with the speed, contact hitting, spraying the ball all over the place. He has a good eye, gets on base. Um, he'll just set the table for everybody else. I would even like to see DJ LeMahieu bat in second and push Judge to third. I think that's a good starting three right there.
More of a traditional old school
Yeah.
1990s lineup batting order, or early 2000s. Yeah, but that's if we were to move stuff around, that's the idea that I would love to entertain, because DJ LeMahieu is that perfect two-hole hitter like
Hmm.
Jeter was back in the days, not a real pull heavy guy, up the middle
Contact.
and to right field, and
Yeah.
that's what you want in your traditional number two hitter. But we know nowadays when it comes to the analytics, they throw all of that out the window, and Judge most likely will be the two-hole hitter. But I think having Volpe in that leadoff spot is the perfect spot. Having Judge be that protection for Anthony Volpe, so Anthony Volpe could take advantage of some fastballs instead of people trying to pitch around him. But then the flip side of that, brother, the flip side to that is, if Anthony Volpe was, sorry about got a little burps, but if Anthony Volpe was to get on first base and you have Aaron Judge up to bat, is Volpe going to steal bases? Because you don't want to waste the opportunities that Aaron Judge get with runners on the bases. You understand?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to make things happen with the bigger bases now and the less pickoff attempts, and I think there'll be a lot more opportunities to steal bases. And the
Yeah.
Yankees need to generate runs. That's their problem. They just wait around for the 3-run homer, and we're tired of it. It doesn't happen, especially in the postseason. It doesn't happen. They leave too many men on base. We got to make things happen. Hit and run here and there. Get some more athletic speed. It's just we got to change things up.
Yeah, no, I get that. Listen, and that's an argument that us Yankee fans, we have been having ever since the past like 5 or 6 years, right? Ever since
Yeah.
the baby bombers came. And talking about the baby bombers, before I get into anything else, can you believe that Gary Sanchez is out of the league, bro?
Wow, that was fast.
He is out of the league. Your man Gary Sanchez is playing in some amateur beer league baseball team or whatever, but
The Dominican League or
yeah, I think it is, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. But Gary Sanchez, man, I feel so bad for. Let me
yeah,
take that back. I don't feel bad for Gary Sanchez. I feel bad for the player that he could have been, if you understand
right,
what I'm saying, right? I don't have
totally.
anything, nothing for a player who showed that he was lazy, showed that he didn't want to put the work in when it comes to certain aspects of the game. But I feel bad for the player that he could have been, because the potential was there. A catcher with the arm that he had, with the
Hmm.
power that he had. It's just he never put the plate discipline together.
No.
He never was able to focus on actually being a catcher and calling a game. When it comes to him switching his catching stance, he was never a proper catcher when it came to that aspect.
Hmm.
One thing I know when it learning from my baseball coach in high school was, if you're a catcher, you got to be on your tippy toes, like on the tip of your toes, on the ball of your heels right there. And that's just something Gary Sanchez couldn't do. The Yankees, we fired Joe Girardi so we could bring in Aaron Boone, so Aaron Boone could connect with Gary Sanchez. And it seems all of that was a waste, because Gary Sanchez is not even on this team or even is in the league, bro. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, Gary Sanchez, he let the hype get to him. He took for granted that he was hyped that he was this phenomenal home run hitter. And you know what this game does to you? It humbles you quick.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds himself 4 or 5 years already out of the league. So you don't put in the work and keep up with the rest of baseball. It shows, and look what happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
and
sad.
it's a perfect thing. Like Pete said, it's like Sonny from a Bronx Tale, wasted talent.
Yeah,
And the
definitely wasted.
thing that's more crazy about that whole Bronx Tale situation of the conversation of wasted talent, and telling your son that wasted talent is one of the worst things that can happen in the world, is that actor, right, that played Cologero, that played C, that
Mm.
actor was also a waste of talent. That was a young kid that De Niro and other guys in the industry went to bat for, to make to say that he's the next one up. This is the next guy up when it comes to acting, and another guy that just wasted his talents away when it came to just partying, drugs, and everything else that came with it. It's just like Pete said, look, another elite Yankee prospect gone with the win.
Yeah, we're getting used to it now. It seems like it's happening quite often.
Jackson
And
Frazier,
yeah.
Gary Sanchez.
Well,
Let me do
going back to even further, Brian Taylor,
yeah.
the left-handed pitcher we had. I mean, that's where I
And
think it started.
and that was another one that, a situation happened with his brother and he wanted to step in and he got injured and was never the same pitcher ever again.
Yeah.
Your life could change like that if you're not putting the things that you got to put together. Look what's happening in Memphis. I know we're talking about baseball, but look at the NBA and John Morant. I know he had his first game back after his suspension, but John Morant literally just took his whole image and just threw it down the trash. Just Powerade deals, Nike deals, Under Armour, all of that is gone because of that way he wants to carry himself off the field. Like I understand, if you're growing up around the wrong people, I get that. I understand that. As somebody coming from where I came from, I get that. But there has to be a certain way, or there has to be a certain age that you're able to just shut all that noise down and just move on with your life instead of focus on all that nonsense.
Yeah, it's maturity. These guys they're immature, and the money gets to their head, and they just think that they can do whatever they want.
And I think that's a situation when it comes to Gary Sanchez. Like when I was on Get Yank with Pete on Friday's episode, having a conversation with Pete, I worked with Gary Sanchez's cousin when I was working in EMS, when I was an EMT. I had the pleasure of working with his cousin for about a year and a half. She was my partner, and she told me, like, I was super hyped when Gary Sanchez was coming up, but apparently the whole family understands that Gary Sanchez never really was focused. Like Gary Sanchez has an eye issue. He needs LASIK or contact lens or glasses. And he's just one of those hard-headed guys that don't want to go through either getting the surgery, wearing contacts, or wearing glasses. That right there should go and tell you where his focus is.
Yeah, and he's talking about a career in baseball. Millions of dollars. Kids have dreams to be in his position, to be on this field, hear the crowd, and just to throw it all away just to be lazy, and we all saw it. We see how these guys are. Yeah, he might be a natural talent, but that goes away when you're lazy and you don't put in the work.
Yeah,
The pride gets in the way.
100%. Before we continue the conversation, let me give a few shout outs. Uncle Tats is in the building. Uncle Tats, what it do? My man Carlos with a K is in the building. Salute. Mikey Mazza and the Ford Train Express is in the building. Eric Wallace, my man EY, hope all is well. Yeah. Jonathan is in the building. Jonathan, what it do? Salute, my guy. And I think JJ was here also. I just lost him. Couldn't find it. But JJ, if you're in the building, salute to you as well, brother. Salute to you. So
I think all these guys
Fun Time is in the building.
There's my brother.
I missed them all. I missed everyone. I missed all of you guys. Of course, Anthony Medina. I cannot wait. April 1st is right around the corner, my guys. April 1st, NYY News TV, Nights of DJ in the Audi Suite at Yankee Stadium. We are in the building. Of course, Jason from 161 River Ave is in the building. You got Mikey Mazza. You got 161 River Ave. You got Pinstripe Chronicles. We just having a Yankees reunion
we got
all the heavy hitters here. All the heavy hitters
creators are here.
Like my man Pete said, hit the like button and sub. All the heavy hitters is in the building. I appreciate you guys. But like I said, April 1st is right around the corner. If you haven't gotten your tickets, I think there may be a handful of tickets left if there are any. Make sure you get your tickets. And as well, April 2nd is free. Gramercy Ale House, Pete Simonetti and myself, we will be calling the game season live at Gramercy Ale's house, 1 p.m. Make sure you guys come. Like Pete loves to say, there's a chef, all right? There's an actual chef. He's an iron chef over there at Gramercy Ale House, but he is one of the night holders over here at KOD Media. He actually owns the bar. Gramercy Ale House is going to be a real good time. They're going to have some Yankee themed drinks that may be 50% off. Don't quote me on that. Please don't quote me on that, but I will be buying a shot for a few people there. Maybe Anthony Medina, if he shows up, I'll have a shot with Anthony Medina.
Yeah, buy one for Medina from me.
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you, bro. But yo,
hey,
let's
I got
jump
a
into
question. Is this
Go
gonna be
ahead.
broadcast live game season or no?
Yeah. It's
Oh, it
going
will
to be
be.
It's going to be
Okay.
broadcast live on YouTube. Apologies for not saying it. Thank you, TC, for letting me for acknowledging that and telling me
That's
so I
don't
could
miss
repeat
TV
it.
right there. That's don't miss. You and
Don't
Pete.
miss.
You and Pete. Oh wow.
Nah, listen, I try to add to what Pete already brings in the foundation he already built. You know, when I'm there with Pete, I just love talking about movies and TV shows with Pete. That's one thing I love talking about: food, movies, and TV shows. The three amigos. But let's shift gears a little bit. We'll come back to the Yankees, right? No Casey fun time. We ain't buying no shot for Aaron Hicks. Ain't no shots for Hicks. The only shot Hicks is getting is a shot from a full gauge. That's the only one. That's the only one he's getting. But let's switch gears real quick, right? Let's go back, bring it back to the World Baseball Classic. Before I talk, what was your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic, TC?
I don't know. That was World Series Game 7 every day. It was a classic. It was so worth watching. I mean, I tuned into almost every game, especially the last game. But the U.S. game when Trey Turner hit the grand slam, the excitement. It was like I said, it was Game 7 every night, and props to Japan, but U.S.
Yeah.
They had their chances. They reminded me of the Yankees, leaving guys on base, not coming through. You know, it, it happens, but that I would never get rid of that. That is loved it,
Yeah,
100%.
100%, bro. The energy and the atmosphere. One thing you guys have to know, when it comes to the World Baseball Classics, in the 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, if I'm being generous or whatever, but in the 2.5 weeks that the World Baseball Classic was going on, the attendance at the stadiums, at the games, check this out. In 2.5 weeks, they drew more fans to the World Baseball Classic than the Oakland A's did for 81 home games. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say this again for the people in the back that didn't hear me.
Wow.
In the 2.5 weeks that the World Baseball Classic was going on, they drew more attendance for the World Baseball Classic than 81 games for the Oakland Athletics last year. That is bonkers, bro.
Yeah, it's time for them to move.
Yeah, 100%. And also, can we talk about the elevation of certain players? Trey Turner, the elevation of Trey Turner. He is now in a conversation of being a superstar. He was an all-star. We understand he's a great player, but seeing him during that time in the World Baseball, he had 4 home runs in the World Baseball Classic.
He
4
definitely
home runs.
rose to the occasion. Yeah, he's the reason why they got to the final game. Without that grand slam, they don't win.
Yes, and I was having a conversation with Pete. If you guys didn't watch Get Yanked over on NYY News TV, go ahead. Pete filled in for my man Jigga Man. It was a great convo. But like I was saying with Pete Simonetti, there's a lot of people out. I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a small faction of baseball fans out there that are saying that these games don't mean anything, that these games aren't important, that there's just exhibition.
Wrong.
And brother, you are absolutely wrong.
Yep.
Each time the World Baseball Classic, Hector, he had 5 home runs, bro. Even better, Sunil. Appreciate that, bro. When it came to the World Baseball Classic, every year, the viewership not only grows, but it doubles. Every time the World Baseball Classic comes around, every 4 years, the viewership for the World Baseball Classic, it doubles. When you look at Shohei Otani's Instagram, his Instagram literally doubled in followers during the World Baseball Classic. He went from 1.5 million followers to over 3 million followers, damn near approaching 4 million followers on Instagram, only because of the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
Go ahead, TC.
No, the popularity of baseball is just growing, and you could see it. You could see the crowds when the Mexico game was almost all Mexico. Puerto Rico, Dominican. I mean, it's all over the Czech Republic. Who would have thought got little electricians and doctors are playing against professional players.
Bro.
You
Bro,
know,
the guy that struck out Shohei Otani was doing what I was doing,
yeah.
installing video security systems and being an electrician, bro.
I mean, that's just a great story just in itself, right there. So, it's just growing. The
Mm-hmm.
popularity is definitely growing. I know, football and basketball have,
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
fans, but that baseball classic, I think it just grew baseball just that much more because
Yeah.
the
100
yeah,
percent, bro.
it was fun. It was fun to watch, and then the fans loved it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that this is an event that is made for the fans. I'm not sure if I'm for okay, cool. I'm back. This is an event that's made for the fans, right?
Hmm.
And for growing the sport of baseball. Now, the diehard baseball fan may be tuned out. I'm not sure. I'm not taking a poll when it comes to asking every baseball fan how they feel about the World Baseball Classic. But what I can say is people that are in my life that do not follow sports or baseball the way that I follow it or you follow it or people in the chat follow it.
Yeah.
I had people calling me that refuse to watch baseball games before calling me and asking me, "Hey, did you see the World Baseball Classic?" Like I actually had my friend Chris, who he is one of those that actually hates baseball or watching baseball or going to a baseball game. And I honestly mean that. He actually hates it, but he is big when it comes to like anime and just like Japanese culture or whatever. And he tuned into the World Baseball Classic from the beginning to the end. This is the World Baseball Classic. If it's doing one thing, it's doing one thing right. It's opening the audience and it's opening the game to other people that never watched it before.
No,
And if
totally
you're
agree. Yeah,
and if you're a commissioner that's growing the league, right? This is something that you got to say is a good thing for the league.
definitely. And you know what it also is doing is waking up these U.S. players. Get on board. Look at what's going on here.
Yes.
I'm tired of these guys. Nah, I'll pass. I'll pass. You're playing for the country. You're playing for your
Yes.
country. I mean, look at Pete. Pete had the U.S. flag behind him the whole game.
Bro.
That's patriotism. Play for your dang country. Let's go. Stop saying
Yes.
it's nothing. This is
Yes.
for the U.S. It's the Olympics. Come on, guys.
And now, like when it comes to the older fans of baseball, right? And guys, just so you know, we are going to switch it back to the Yankees in spring training. We just wanted to have this conversation real quick, especially right before the open panel. But when you're having these conversations, when you look at the World Baseball Classic, right? Like you said, country pride. You got to be able
Mhm.
to play for your country. Have that. Look at Anthony Medina with the flags in the chat right there, Medina. If I had the ability, right? If I didn't have the video game thumbs that I had and actually was an athlete, I would go and play for Puerto Rico if I had the ability to, because it's
Yeah.
it's the birthplace of my family. Like you guys I am first generation here in the States,
Mhm.
right? I'm the first, like my mother was raised on the island. I am the first here in the States, right? The first generation. There's a lot of first generations like me that they were so in love with the game, whether they was rooting for America, whether they was rooting for Puerto Rico, whether they was rooting for Dominican Republic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? When it comes to growing the game of baseball, this is what you're doing. And now there was a conversation that was happening. Shout out to WFAN, Craig Carton and Evan Roberts. I want to get your opinion on this. And guys in the chat, let me know if you guys listened to WFAN yesterday. But Evan and Craig was having a conversation of if they wanted to grow the game, right? If they wanted to expand it, right? Check this
Mhm.
out. Let me get your thoughts on this. And people in the chat, let me know what you guys think as well. When it comes to the playoffs, Major League Baseball and their playoffs, we have it set the way it is. Would you add two extra teams to the playoffs from Japan? The same way
Ooh.
how we have the American League champion and the
Mm.
National League champion. In Japan, they have two leagues as well, right? So what Evan proposed was when the postseason starts over here for us, you take the two teams that won their divisions, whether it's
Mhm.
the AL or the NL champions, whatever the league is called over there, I don't know, but have them come and be the eighth seed or the bottom seed in our playoffs. That way, the number one seed goes against one Japanese team in the American League, and vice versa. Honestly, if we're going to grow the sport of baseball, it at first when you have the conversation, it makes you scratch your head like, no, that sounds dumb. But then honestly, it kind of sounds fun. What's your thoughts on that, real quick?
I don't know about that. I don't know if we're ready for that, but
Mm-hmm.
it sounds interesting. What I was thinking was whoever the World Series champion is, they just play the Japanese champion and just have like a international
Mm.
championship type thing.
Like a
Um,
like almost, well, the World Baseball Classic is like the Riders Cup, so but something similar to that, right?
yeah, something similar to that, where the U.S. champion plays the Japanese champion. I
Mm,
mean, you could even make it a Final Four. You could have Japanese champ, like maybe I know there's some pros in Dominican, Puerto Rico, but you could
mm-hmm.
also Canada, England, whatever you want to do, and make it like a Final Four type thing.
Yeah, yeah. My man Ruben said the first time Marlins Park has ever been sold out, most likely. The Marlins are my NL team, and man, hopefully they start dishing out money to the players they
Yeah,
actually hit on. Absolutely, Ruben. When it comes to the Marlins, the former owner of the Marlins before Derek Jeter's like group went in to buy it, Jeffrey Loria. When I worked, and here's the thing: people go like, Hector, how many jobs have you had in your life? I had a bunch of jobs. Trust me, I was always working 2 or 3 jobs at a time. But there's a supermarket in Manhattan, 72nd Street and Broadway. It's called Zabar's Supermarket. It is the oldest and the first ever open Jewish family supermarket. And Jeffrey Loria used to come there all the time. And I was the manager of the bread department, and Jeffrey Loria will always buy bread from us or whatever. And I had
nice.
conversations with Jeffrey Loria almost every day. I was trying to convince him to trade Giancarlo Stanton to Seattle for Taiwan Walker, James
Mm.
Paxton. If I was a GM, I would have definitely got fired for doing that trade. But this is when Tyon and Paxton, when they were when they were both like prospects and stuff. Yes. 80th from Broadway. Yes, 72nd was a train stop right there on 80th from Broadway. Zabar's Bakery. Worked there for about a year and a half. It was an awesome job. The owners and everybody there was really cool, really awesome. Evan wouldn't like it if the Mets lost to Japan. Absolutely. And honestly, if the Yankees got swept by a team from Japan, by like the Shinbo Lions or whatever, I would have been upset as well, right? But it just adds a different dynamic or whatever. Is it something that Brad, something like that, Brad. Something like that, Brad. I'm not gonna put. Oh, I'm gonna put it up right there. Hold on. Hector's had more jobs than Heck has
Oh
clients.
wow.
Absolutely, Brad. If you
Uh-oh.
see my resume, I had a bunch of jobs. I also worked at Peanut Butter and Company in the West Village. If you guys know about that store, you guys know about that store. I worked there when I was 16 years old, making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and when I was in high school, trying to pay off some bills.
Nice. You were well rounded, right? Well rounded.
Very well rounded. It was very taught as a very young age that hard work gets you places, right? Hold
Yes,
on, I
sir.
got DSJ in the chat, and also so you
Yeah.
guys know, DSJ. It looks like he's trolling, but it's all love when it comes to DSJ. He said TC Stills is a Harlem legend. He once stopped the corner store robbery by throwing a can of Arizona iced tea at the robber, also yelling "Riverside, mother."
True story. True story. No,
True story. DJ Hector used to play stickball on East 162nd Street in the Bronx. When he hit the ball on the roof of those apartments, he would yell Riverside. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you. Chris said he's also a singer. Absolutely. I do dabble in some vocal training as well. He said,
didn't know that.
Ruben says, yeah, the two owners of the Marlins had previously were completely cheap. They made the fan base hesitant to spend money on the team. Every time fans start showing up, they sell off the players to other teams. Yep. I'm gonna ask you this before we jump back into the Yankees conversation, TC. When it comes to baseball, besides the Yankees, is there a second team that you followed secretly or were rooting for secretly?
That I was rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Padres.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason, a player that was on the team or something like that?
Well, I'm on the West Coast now,
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm. Okay.
it's I never was an Angel or Dodger fan. That's all my wife's family and their side. So um, I love going to San Diego, and there's just I don't know. There's just something about the Padres that kind of drew me toward them. Some of the players they had, Tony Gwynn and some of those guys. But now I see what they're trying to do, and it's 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 a step in the right direction. So I wouldn't mind seeing them. Especially when they took the Dodgers out. Oh man, I loved
Mm,
it. You know.
yeah. Guys in the chat, let me know as well. Is there, like Ruben said and TC said, is there a second team that you've watched besides the Yankees and just followed, as just, your secondary team that you were rooting for secretly on the low? 161 River Ave said the Royals and George Brett. Okay, that's a good pick right there. For me, it had to be when I was in high school. I was spoiled by the Yankees at a very early age, especially with the dynasty years and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. But secretly, I was always rooting for the Cubs. Very low key,
Okay.
always rooting for
Yeah.
the Cubs. And it was for two players. It was for Derek Lee and it was for Aramis Ramirez. I
Mm,
thought those two players, if they were healthy, phenomenal players or whatever. So I used to be rooting hardcore for the Cubs and low key for Derek Lee. He almost had a triple crown that one year. I think
yeah.
it was 2005 if I'm not mistaken. Almost won a triple crown. He was phenomenal. He was also with the Florida Marlins at the time when they beat the Yankees in the 2003 World Series. We're not going to really talk about that, but yeah, I was low key rooting for always when I was in high school, the Cubs and Derek Lee,
Hmm.
Aramis Ramirez. Carlos Marmol is a guy that they had in the bullpen. I thought was going to be the next Mariano Rivera.
Hmm.
We all know what happened with Mark Pryor, Kerry Wood. You get that. You understand that. Ivan Manny in all caps said no. Yankees for life.
I remember coming home from school and always turning on WGN and listening to Harry Carey. I used to love.
Oh,
It was
nice.
on during the day. So
Mhm. My man
Ryan Sandberg and all those guys.
My man Ruben said I was in Hialeah, same place with Nestor Cortez. When the Marlins won in 2003, I went to the Marlin games a few times. Yeah, that is awesome. Ruben, are you tú eres cubano? You Cuban, bro? Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Uncle Tat said, I'll try to pick a random NL team I think can be sneaky good. I want to keep my eye on the Marlins this season. Okay, that's good. Sunil says the Braves, Ronald Acuna. That's not a bad
Hmm.
one right there.
Yeah.
Medina says, nah, it was always the Yankees and rooted for any team that beat the Red Sox
Yeah.
and the Mets. Bro, that's
Yeah.
exactly how my
100%.
mom's is. My mom's like I've said a bunch of times, she's a diehard Met fan. And she always says, listen, my favorite team are the Mets, the Red Sox, and anybody else that beats the Yankees. That was my mom's. Until this day, she still is
Yep.
the same way. Ruben says
Haters.
Carlos Zambrano as well. Can't forget about him. Switch hitting pitcher as well. Got a few bombs in as well. Let's see. DSJ said I rooted for specific players like Ozzie Smith, Gary Sheffield before he became a Yank, and some of the Mets players like Dwight Gooden, Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, and Darryl Strawberry. All right, I see you. No, Ruben says he is Boricua, my man, de la
Oh yeah.
Isla. All right. Let's see. Ivan, man. Oh, now Ivan says, okay, I root for the Pirates too to get new ownership because they are so embarrassing. Yes, they are. Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
they are. I'm gonna say what I have to say because I'm working on doing a deep dive when it comes to the Pittsburgh Pirates owner, I should say, and other owners in Major League Baseball. And if I disappear after that episode, the CIA got me because I was opening up my mouth and talking
Yeah.
about billionaires when I shouldn't have been talking about billionaires.
Mm.
But let's jump back into the Yankees, bro. Let's jump back into the Yankees because
Yeah.
while I was gone, some injuries happened. Jose Trevino, he's
Mm.
out right now at the moment. They're saying that it's somewhat precautionary. What's your take on the Jose Trevino injury?
Yeah. Just taking it easy. I think it's his wrist.
Mhm.
Yeah. They're just giving him some time. I don't think that'll be a big problem. But yeah, we just gotta cross our fingers that we have a healthy team to field on opening day. So
Mhm. No, yeah, and when you look at the injuries, Carlos Rodon, he has started a throwing program,
yep,
so
I
he is
saw that.
throwing from the mound, progressively, 50 feet, 60 feet, just to build up
Mhm.
that arm strength. And I think go about it the right way. Take your time, have him come back. If you're gonna have him miss the entire month of April, cool. Just bring him back
Right.
and ease him back into it. We invested a lot of money in years in Carlos Rodon. We just want to make sure that he is healthy for when we need him, and that's in the postseason.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't need him now. Let's make sure he's ready to go for the postseason. You know.
Oh, Bing. And look,
Ugh.
Jason just said minor wrist sprain day to day. He is in today's lineup. There you go.
Oh,
So everything I just said, you could just throw it out the window because he is in today's lineup. No, I appreciate you, Jason. I'm looking for the lineup, and here it is. Anthony Volpe leading it off. Gleyber Torres is the DH. Anthony Rizzo is the first baseman. Giancarlo Stanton is in right field. Ozzy Cabrera is at third base.
mm,
Aaron Hicks is in center field. Why are they doing this? Peraza is at second base. Trevino is back in the lineup as the catcher. Willie Calhoun in left field. And Nestor Cortez from Hialeah is on the mound. When it comes to third base,
mm-hmm.
Josh Donaldson had 2 home runs in spring training. Are
Wow.
you excited for the breakout season that Josh Donaldson is going to have?
Let's crown him MVP. MVP.
Comeback player of the year.
Definitely comeback player. Yeah. No, I mean one game in spring training is not going to make an MVP season. So let's just see what happens. You know, hopefully he has a good start, April, and he starts off red hot. So you know, we can only have high hopes because I don't know. Can these guys get any worse? I mean, we already know they're going to be on the roster. So, you know,
I honestly don't know, bro.
just shake your head.
Whatever we get out of Josh Donaldson, I'll take it. Right. My expectations for him and Aaron Hicks, I'm not expecting them to have groundbreaking seasons that gonna be the definitive reason why the Yankees are winning a World Series or making it to the playoffs, right? I'm not going into the season expecting them to be big contributors on this team. Whatever we get out of them is whatever we get out of them. One thing I was happy looking at those 2 home runs, at least he didn't do the stupid ass bat flip. Right. At least he didn't do that stupid bat flip that he normally does. And normally when he does do the bat flip, it's a pop out.
Can of corn. He is working on a different stance, so I don't know if that's gonna help at all. I mean, these guys try all these different things, and we'll see.
Whatever he needs to do to help himself out. If he needs to, you remember in Space Jam when they wrote magic water or magic juice on the bottle.
Oh yeah.
Find somebody write that on Josh Donaldson's water just so he's thinking he's taking some magic juice.
Gatorade potion.
Yeah. There you go. Steve Schumann said supposedly JD's 2 home runs was due to a batting stance change when he unveiled before the game. Hopefully this is something good when it comes to Josh Donaldson, right? We welcome this, right? I'm not saying that we do not welcome a good season for Josh Donaldson. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. What I'm saying is that I'm not putting all my eggs in a basket and counting on Josh Donaldson to be the difference maker for our team. That's all I'm saying.
No, honestly, he needs to platoon with DJ LeMahieu at third. I'd like to see that. I don't want to see JD at third all year. I mean,
let's see. Ruben says Hector and TC. I get annoyed when people say the Yankees were negative defensive runs saved in center field last year and associate Judge with that. Judge was +1 DRS in center field. It was Hicks who was like a -5 or a -6 DRS in center field. Ruben, I'm right there with you, bro. When it comes to, and I said this, right? And the one thing that stood out when we got Harrison Bader, right? And like you said, when it comes to Aaron Judge, he did the best he could in center field because we know that he's a right fielder, right? But he was able to cover center field as best as he can. When Harrison Bader became our center fielder, the balls that were dropping right in front of Aaron Hicks at his feet, those are the balls that Harrison Bader was tracking down and sliding and making those catches. Having a defensive center fielder like Harrison Bader, not only does it make your defense better, but it helps out your pitching staff, right? You're not getting those bloop hits right in front of the center fielder. In the first game he actually played in center field, he made the diving catch in left center that actually saved the game for Garrett Cole. If it wasn't for that, Garrett Cole would have gave up like 5 runs that game.
Yeah,
it's the little things. Go ahead, TC.
Yeah, no, center field is a major part of the game. A major part of the team. And you know, especially, and then the routes they take to get to the ball. You know, we've seen what Hicks is doing, tracking fly balls, letting them just thinking they're foul, and they just looks at it and it falls in. You know, so
and we may be like this. We may be living in the Twilight Zone or La La Land because I've been seeing IKF been in center field also.
Now he's gonna catch too. I hear he's starting to put that on his
Oh my
resume.
God.
He's backup catcher.
Brian Cashman is really trying to make up for that Jacoby Ellsbury signing by
Yeah.
sticking anyone he can in center field, bro.
Hey, speaking of Cashman, did you see that he's taking responsibility for the Montas fiasco? Did you see
Oh,
that?
he taking responsibility?
Yeah, he said, "Yeah, that was my
He's
bad."
being an adult?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Oh, pull it up,
He,
pull it up. While TC Stills is pulling that up, I'm trying to stop myself from passing out right now because if Brian Cashman is finally owning up to his negligence when it came to the Montage trade, trading away all those pitching prospects, depleting our farm systems from having the depth that we need now that Montas and Rodon are not going to be on this team when the season starts. Brian Cashman I'm happy that you're coming around. As they say, you're coming around the corner when they come. What's the quote? What did he say, TC?
all right. Well, so it says Cashman isn't hiding behind the pride anymore, but instead admitting that it was a complete dud. The same could be said about the deal that brought IKF and Josh Donaldson to the Bronx. So here's
Oh, wait, it's
Cashman.
not just the Montage trade, it's the IKF and Donaldson trade also?
I don't know if he's quoted say on that one yet, but that's my worst trade. But he says this is Cashman. You can't sugarcoat it. The Montage trade didn't work out, he said. We didn't get a healthy pitcher, and that's ultimately my responsibility. No, really?
In the words of L.I. Yankee King, he said, guys, hell is frozen over. The world is ending. Absolutely, L.I. Yankee King. Listen,
Yeah.
if Brian Cashman is able to admit it, cool. He's able to admit it. Michael Caputo's in the building. Capoots, what it do? He said, you're lucky to see Volpe called up open day. Of course, Caputo got to just come in with the low blow. Appreciate you, Caputo. Hope all is well. But yes, we're getting around that time. Let's put the link for the open panel into the chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it into the chat. I'm gonna grab my bottle of Tylenol to get ready for this headache that we're about to listen to because I know L.I. Yankee King is gonna come in hot with the different trade scenarios. But
they missed you, man. They're all coming in.
I know, definitely
show
did.
The love right now.
Definitely did. But before we get to the open panel, I always got to just put the rules out there, guys. Please respect YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter terms of services when it comes to TOS. Please be respectful to everyone who's on the panel, to people who was in the chat. Please, no arguing, no back and forth. You guys know that I do not like to have a debate style format when it comes to these conversations. I just love to have convos, point blank, period. Right? Does not need to be a debate. Does not need to be a yelling match back and forth. Let someone finish their entire statement or let someone finish their entire take before you jump in, because the same respect that you give them is the same respect they are going to give you. And with that said, I'm gonna bring in the first one. My man, a hemorrhoid named Hicks. How you doing, Sunil? Good morning.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Chilling, bro. Chilling.
What you got for us?
I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. I really don't.
All right, just hold that thought right there.
I thought he had an engagement ring there. He was ready to propose.
I thought so too. I was about to say yes, I do. Yes, I definitely do. But just hold that thought right there, because I got my man L.I. Yankee King coming in, and L.I. Yankee King. It looked like he got a haircut. He looking smooth over there. You got a haircut, L.I.? Let me see that. What you got? Hey, my man getting fresh. He getting ready for opening day. I see you. Hold on, let me bring in some more people. We got Chris the Flash backstage. Chris the Flash, how you doing?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Good morning, Chris the Flash. Hope all is well, Chris.
Man.
I love you, bro. My man Jonathan is in the building. Jonathan, good morning, sir. Hope all is well.
I wasn't here last week because I was on vacation.
Same. I was on vacay last week also, from Thursday into Tuesday when I came back. But yeah, definitely was. Hold on your thought real quick. I'm glad to see that you're back. I'm glad to see that the lighting is actually coming in your window, because last time you was on the panel, you looked like you was auditioning for the dark side of Star Wars, bro. I was about to make sure you good.
Dark Knight.
I like better when I'm in this direction here.
Yeah, no, you good, Jonathan. I'm just joshing with you. Of course, I got to bring in my man Ivan Manny to the panel. Ivan, what it do? Good morning, sir.
Morning, guys.
Morning,
Morning.
morning,
What's
baby,
up?
morning. And last but not least, the one and only Capooties.
There he
Capoots,
is.
what it
Bro.
does, baby.
How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, bro.
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? But I'm glad to
doing?
see all you guys back. Welcome back. Sorry that I was gone Tuesday, just because I was in Tampa and stuff like that, Dylan, and Thursday as well. You know, but I'm glad to be back. I missed all of you guys, especially the last conversation we was having. But I'm gonna start it off with Ivan, my man Ivan. Then I want you to throw it over to Caputo's. Right, we are 7 days away from opening day. Right, injuries are injuries. Our roster is our roster. But Ivan, what are you looking forward to? What is Ivan looking forward to for the start of the season? I'll throw it over to you, and then throw it over to Caputis.
I'm looking forward to Volpe being on the opening day roster. You know, I mean that's he deserves it. We need to see it. The fan base doesn't care about their service time or anything else. If this guy's the real deal, sign him for the next 15 years, man. I don't care right now. I mean, he's showing that he's there, and we're ready. We're ready to have another guy that's leading off in this lineup for the first time in years.
Yeah, no, 100%. Caputs, same question going your way. 7 days away. I understand injuries right now. The team is dealing with some injuries, but at the same time, we do have some guys stepping up and showing that they actually have worth in spring training. But Caputi, 7 days away. What are you looking forward to? How are you shaping things up when the season's about to start, bro?
Well, if they even call Volpe up, let's see if this actually happens. And because they sent Dominguez down, so I don't have confidence in calling Volpe up with the history of them never giving their prospects a chance and leave them in the farm system stuck down there. So I guess Volpe, but are they even going to play him? Because I don't trust Brian Cashman. I mean, they always keep their guys down the farm system forever.
When it comes to the rest of the roster, right? Are there any other players that stuck out to you besides Dominguez and Volpe that actually made you excited going into the season?
I mean, it's just been probably Dominguez. I mean, I would say Dominguez and those guys. I wanted to see Rodon pitch, so that now that's not going to happen. I don't know when he's going to pitch ever again. So that really has my hopes down. I mean, that's what I was looking forward to because that's the only thing that was exciting on this team.
Yeah. Now, last question, Capoose, before I bring it over to Jonathan. With the performance that Dominguez and Volpe's had in spring training, granted, I understand it's a small sample size. If a trade was to pop up right now for enter whatever player you want to enter, are you willing to trade Dominguez and Volpe at this moment, or do you want to hold on to them and see what they can actually do with us?
You gotta hold on.
Capoots?
I want to. No, I'm not trading Volpe. I would trade Dominguez. I would trade him because we could get somebody for him. I would say maybe like a starting pitcher or maybe a left fielder, and we need help right now. This team needs all the help they could get because they have a lot of injuries. I mean, what do we have, like 6 guys down now? Beta's out, Rodon's out, Lou Trevino's out, Tommy Canley. So they obviously need reinforcements. So you have to get the Yankees have a lot of work to do, man. They were ways away from a World Series.
Copy. All right, I feel you, Caputo. Give you a virtual hug as well while we're here having a conversation. Jonathan, same question going your way. With 7 days left before opening days, what are you looking forward to? Who are you eyeing into when it comes to a player on this roster, or what are you looking forward to starting the season, bro?
Well, there was one player, I forget his Michael King. That's the guy who I'm most looking forward to seeing what he can do back from injury. I was hoping that they would keep Volpe on the roster, but I understand why he's not on the roster because if you bring Volpe up, you have to make room for him. That is why I think Gleyber Torres will be traded at some point to make room for Volpe.
Okay, all right, I see that. Respectable as well. When it comes to Michael King, what role do you envision for Michael King? And let's toss it over to Chris afterwards. But what role do you envision for Michael King? Yeah, do you see him as a closer, a setup man, or like L.I. Yankee King loves to do, make him a starter? What are you thinking for?
I think he will be a long relief guy.
Okay. multiple innings type of reliever. Copy. Krista Flash. How you doing, Krista Flash? Same questions going your way. When it comes to 7 days before the season starts, who are you eyeing into and what you're looking forward to, brother?
I probably agree with Jonathan with his pick. I want to see what Michael King, can bring to the table. I mean, we saw what he could do last year, and he was dominant. So hopefully he can return to that form. The whole Volpe thing, I don't know if Cashman is smart about this, but if Volpe wins Rookie of the Year, he gets another year tacked on to his service time. So I just don't understand that. It doesn't make sense. If he's good right now, bring him up.
Exactly.
Great point. And also along if he wins Rookie of the Year, the service time, but also if he even finishes in the top 5, the Yankees do get extra compensatory picks when it comes to the 3rd round and the 4th round and stuff like that. We got still 69s in the building. What it do? Still 69. That is hilarious. He says Caputo looks like Merman Man. He says Caputo and Ivan look like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy on the bottom. That is hilarious. Stills, stop it, please. Honestly, I actually dressed up as Mermaid Man one year for Halloween. But I'm gonna throw it over to Li Yankee King. Li, when it comes to you, baby, what are you looking forward to? And not no trades. We'll get to your trade scenarios later on. But what are you looking forward to? 7 days left before the season starts, brother. Go ahead.
First, I gotta say, Steve, you can't come up with those for me. Like, you've been roasting me for 3 months. You can't come up with those for me. You NPC. Come on. Anyway, I'm looking forward to my boy. I tried to do a Hector, but it didn't work. But I'm looking forward to my boy Gleyber Torres being the rightful second baseman, taking his heir to the second base throne. And Anthony Volpe taking his throne at third base. Because, yes, people will say, oh, but he doesn't have the arm for shortstop. What does he have for third base? Third base is a lot easier to play than shortstop. Shortstop is a lot harder to play. Hence why you've seen Gleyber Torres get all screwed up. Second base and third base are harder position, are easier position than short. Get more responsibilities. But
Copy.
I am looking forward. And Michael King being a setup guy. And I'm gonna have a hot take.
Okay,
Luis
well,
Severino. Nope.
Go ahead with your top take. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Luis Severino finishes 5th Cy Young.
Okay. I said that's a hot take if that's not a hot take. Sunil, before you go, I got 2 people backstage. I'm not sure with John. Oh, there's Jonathan right now. Okay, so I got Tats and Ruben backstage, right? I'm going to bring up Tats real quick. Ruben, I can only have 9 people on the panel at a time. So if you could just wait a few, I'll bring up Tats. Let Tats give his take, and then I'll circle somebody else out to bring you up, and I'll do that as well. Whoever I bring down, I'll just circle you guys up. So I'm going to bring Tats up real quick. Uncle Tats, good morning, gorgeous. It's so great to see you.
Good morning. Wait, TC called me out in the chat. I had to jump in.
Yeah. We need you.
I'll make it quick. I'll make room for Ruben. But
all right.
The one Gleyber is much. I love Gleyber LI, and I just think his time is up as a Yankee, not as a baseball player. But I think it's time to move forward for his sake, not just the Yankees. Because the Yankees are, they're already looking past him. They're not even mentioning him with the infield alignment. It's all about Cabrera, Volpe, and Peraza. So you're not even hearing Torres' name anymore. So I think that it may be time. We need the pitching depth. So it may be time to move on from Gleyber. I hate to say it because I really like the kid.
Yeah. Sunil, there's a nice little golf clap for Uncle Tats. We gotta give Uncle Tats.
I gotta agree with Tats on this one. I mean, basically the service time thing. So before I get started, I'm gonna throw out a couple of disclaimers here. Number one, Cashman basically taking accountability isn't really the end of the world. The real end of the world is me agreeing with Caputo partially on one of his takes. And I'm going to say partially with the exception of that trade scenario. So with that, I'm going to get started. Service time for the rookies. You saw what happened to one Mr. Aaron Judge. What did he come up at, like age 26 or something? 26, 27? 25. How old is Volpe, Peraza, and Cabrera right now? In the lower 20s right now? 21, 22?
Yeah,
somewhere around?
Volpe's 21, Peraza's 22, and Cabrera's 23.
So you feeling me? You really want to do the service time thing and basically risk with Volpe not getting his due contract at the same later stage? I mean, the argument was out there about Aaron Judge being on the wrong side of 30 or approaching 30 when we gave him 9 for 360. You really want to revisit that again in the future? I mean, you're talking about Peraza, Volpe, and Cabrera, the possible next core to go along with Aaron Judge. If you want to make a similar parallel to the 90s teams, you saw Bernie come up in the early 90s, 92 maybe.
Great point.
Yeah. And then after 91, there you go. Then you saw everybody else like Posada, Mariano, 95. You saw Posada's like 96 or 97. You saw Derek Jeter in 96. You saw the core forming. And the only difference is this was before Cashman's time. We had Watson as our GM. Why aren't you learning from those great examples that were from your predecessors? That's my biggest frustration with this team.
That's a great point, and I'll throw it over to TC real quick just to circle about what everybody was talking about. But when you bring up those teams that you did, especially the Baby Bombers, even when it comes to Jeter and Pettit, the Yankees called them up in 95 in September, not to be a part of the roster, but to be there just so to experience what it is to be in the postseason and the grind of September. Go ahead, Sunil.
I got one more thing to add, which I forgot to add.
Go ahead, brother.
You saw what happened in 1996 at the advent of Derek Jeter's full-time call-up. In 95, he was there part of the year, right? You saw what happened and what forced Derek Jeter into action. You also saw Derek Jeter not being fundamentally defensively ready at shortstop. You saw a lot of shakiness in spring training. You don't see that shakiness right now with these young three fellas, do you?
Oh, yeah.
What is the hesitation, for God's sake? Please, somebody, please explain it to me. I mean, if we have Minaya and Saban in here to basically help set Cashman straight, these guys need to be, having their voices somewhere. I'm sorry. I mean, this is just unacceptable. Yes, Cashman took the accountability for the trade. But, dude, this is like, you need therapy at GM right now. Yeah, which is why you got your two helper. I
get it. So no, trust me. And the only thing that I can point back, and I'll throw it over to my guy TC to go after me. The only thing that I can point to when it comes to what may be Brian Cashman's hesitation is the fact when you look at Derek Jeter, you brought up Jeter before he was called up in 1996 to be the rookie, he had a little bit over 1,800 at-bats in the minor leagues, right? Anthony Volpe has a little over 1,100 at-bats in the minor league. And when you look at Jason Dominguez has just a little bit over 700 at-bats in the minor league. So if there's anything that I point to that when it comes to not having seen that much minor league pitching. But on the flip side of it, when it comes to Anthony Volpe and Dominguez, they don't look overmatched at this level. No. Yes, I understand people want to say, oh, but it's spring training. They're facing minor league pitchers as well. That should make the argument even stronger then. If they're destroying minor league pitchers the way they're doing it in spring training, they should be able to translate some of that at least to AAA, if not the major league level. But I'll throw it over to TC. TC, I want to get your take on what everybody talked about. Uncle Tats, you mind just holding on because I want to bring Ruben up, but stay backstage though. That way I could bring you back up after Ruben gives his take. All right. So I'm going to bring Tats down. I'm gonna bring my guy Ruben up. Beautiful. Good morning. Hope all is well. Thank you for taking time from your job, because I know you work right now at this moment, Ruben. Appreciate you. But I'm gonna let TC go real quick just to give his take on what everybody said, and I'll start off with you, Ruben, on the next question. Go ahead, TC.
Yeah, well, as far as a player to watch, that's your boy, Andres Chaparro. I was excited to see him. Yep, that's your friend, your guy. You interviewed him. I can't wait to see him. He's coming up this year. I guarantee you. He's going to find a way, because, you know, the Yankees get hurt. So he's going to force his way onto the team. But as far as Cashman goes with this, whether Volpe should be there or Glaber or what, Cashman's stubborn, and he doesn't want to like give in to the fans. He feels as if the fans are trying to pursue him to play the kids, and he doesn't want to let go of these guys and make it look like, you know, Hicks and Donaldson IKF was a bust. You know, he has too much pride, and he has to at least give it a little more chance to see, oh, you know, they're gonna do it. You know, you hear it they're pumping up, you know, Hicks, oh, he's got a new lease on life. JD, oh, look at him, he's got a new stance, and you know, they just don't want to let go, and it just stubbornness, and we're tired of it. He needs to go. I mean, Cashman needs to go before everyone.
Yeah. TC, I think you preach it to the crier, but Ruben, I'm gonna throw it over to you, brother. And the same question that I asked everybody else on the panel before I switch it up to Caputis that right after you. When it comes to 7 days away from spring training, what are you looking forward to? Have you done any deep dives on anyone else that we had in spring training that you may feel may be standing out or maybe a surprise for us during the season?
Yeah, to me, like at this point, I'm more of a Volpe, Peraza up the middle. I mean, Hal's been talking about it all off season. He's mentioned that that's their future goal, to have them up the middle. That's the only reason why I would even have more of a willingness to even trade a Torres, just because of the fact that Hal has said that himself. Why would he say our future up the middle when you have a 25-year-old second baseman? It's probably because he's saying, like, hey, we're not gonna sign him long term. Now, my only thing with that is that, yeah, he's a good bat. He's a legit bat. You're thinking, man, he's one of our better ones. So like, maybe, hopefully, Donaldson comes up this season, starts well, and maybe that entices someone to take him for the rest of the season. You know, so that way can open up a slot for maybe a Chaparro, or open up a slot for maybe DJ to play more on an everyday basis. So that way we can kind of keep him fresh early in the season. So that's more of what I'm looking at. But at this point, it does kind of bother me that it's either or for Volpe and Peraza at short, when I really think it should be both. But if I had to say, and this might be people probably might not agree, but if I had to say who I would prefer at shortstop, opening day, if I had to pick between one of the two, I'm picking Peraza. He's the better defender. Like, Volpe is no slouch at shortstop. Like, a lot of people used to criticize his arm, but he's been going to the, what is it called, those drive line guys for the pitching. That's what he's been doing to get his arm strength up. Yeah. And the same thing with Austin Wells has actually been doing that, the catcher. So that's why he was able to improve his throwing out game last year with his 2-second pop time as well. So I think that have Peraza up. He's already shown that he can hit in September a little bit. We all know Pete mentioned it the other day. He's a little bit of a slow starter, but just let him play shortstop. He's the best defender. We need to also make sure we're putting the best defenders at each position. Volpe looks smooth at second. So I would love to see that up the middle, but I don't think it's gonna be instantly right off the bat. But I just would hate to see them put Volpe at short to then say, okay, we're gonna move you to second base so we can bring Peraza up.
Yeah,
like it's kind of like, just do it already. Like, just leave Peraza at short then.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, Ruben, and that's phenomenal take always from you, Ruben. When it comes to the Volpe conversation on what position to move him to, I honestly think, and I think somebody put it in the chat, moving him to third base would take away from his game because he is so smart mentally. Having him up the middle at the shortstop or second base being able to see the game and reacting to the game instead of being just stuck at third base and he only has one decision to make. You saw that one play he had at shortstop where they were able to turn, I think, a double play from throwing it to third and then throwing it back to second base. That right there alone, I didn't see when Gleyber Torres was at shortstop a play like that Gleyber Torres made. Right?
Yeah, like the mentally, like being able to have that. Yeah, like I completely agree with you on that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Capoose, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Capoose, to lead the convo for the next question.
Yeah.
But
Yo,
Capoose,
I gotta go, guys. I'll be listening.
No problem, Ruben. I appreciate you for giving that take, brother. But I'll throw it over to you, Capotes. I'm gonna bring back Uncle Tats real quick. There you go, Uncle Tats. Yeah, sorry, Tats. I brought you up before I realized I brought you up a little while. No, I didn't want you digging up your nose. Sometimes that happens to me. I be digging for gold sometimes, so I get caught sometimes. Capoose, but I'm gonna throw it over to you. Let me bring back Ivan because he got tossed out, whatever. Capoose, I'm gonna throw it over to you because I see what you're saying when it comes to going out there and getting players that have the experience, and you don't want to put all your eggs in the basket for the minor league players and the prospects. I get that. I understand that sentiment. Trust me, I would rather have a guy who was an MVP candidate at third base instead of relying, as much as I love Andre Chaparro, instead of relying on Andre Chaparro later on the season. I get that argument. But Capoose, I just want to ask you, if there was a player to trade for, right, who would you trade for and what player would it be?
I probably would trade for Corbin Burns.
I was literally just going to ask you that. Yeah. I literally pulled up his stats. His stats are literally right here. When it comes to Corbin Burns, because we just saw yesterday it was announced, or the day before it was announced, that he switched his agent. Scott Boras is now his agent, knowing that he's going to go into free agency and he's going to want that money. So if it comes to trading for Corbin Burns with the Milwaukee Brewers, who are you giving up and who are you willing to give up? Because if we were to add Corbin Burns, and just listen to this hypothetically, Corbin Burns and Carlos Rodon, when he comes back healthy, with Nestor Cortez and Luis Severino, it's a filthy starting rotation. So I'm on board with you with the idea of trading for Corbin Burns.
I want Burns alone.
Who are you giving up for?
Okay, for Burns, I won't give up Volpe. I will give up Dominguez. I would give up Cabrera. Anything else they want for him, except I guess Volpe's off limits. But yeah, for him, I would give up probably half my farm system. It's Corbin Burns. He's like one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. How could you not? I mean, you got to do it, and they need another starter now.
Yeah, so, no, I listen. I'm there with you. Corbin Burns, since 2018, right? He has 5 seasons under this belt. Since 2018, he had an ERA of 2.61. In 2019, it went up a little bit, but he was injured. It was an 8.82 ERA. But in 2020, a 2.11, 2021, 2.43 ERA, and 2022, 2.94 ERA. He has a career ERA of 3.21. You take away that one season of him being injured, and this guy has not pitched the ERA higher than 3. That right there is unheard of. And it's
wanted for a while.
When you look at his strikeout numbers as well, the only thing that hesitates me a little bit about Corbin Burns, the only thing, it's the same thing like with Rodon. Last year was the only time he pitched over 200 innings. That is the only thing. That is the only thing that may be a hesitation. But at the same time, he is a phenomenal pitcher.
He's like the only game changer right now. I could say that could help his team win a World Series because I can't see any other trades. They put them over the top. Reynolds is not going to make them a World Series contender. What trade can, right? It's Corbin Burns. Or unless they trade for Tatis or Acuna, I mean, that's the only ones I could see that helps them.
Burns, he's probably going to cost you the same package Seattle had to give up to get Luis Castillo. Jonathan, I'll throw it over to you and then throw it over to Uncle Tats and then back to Chris. When it comes to the idea of Corbin Burns, like Caputo proposed, is that a pitcher that you will be willing to trade for? And if so, what prospects are you giving up for him?
It's a possibility, but the one guy we're not thinking about and nobody's talking about at this point because he's been hurt is Lewis Hill. If Lewis Hill can come back, I know I think didn't he have Tommy John or something?
He's out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for the season. He's going to be.
I wasn't sure if it was after the season or if
he may come. He may be it depending on how his rehab, because his Tommy John surgery was at the beginning of last year, so he may be coming back depending on his recovery. But Jonathan, hold on 1 second. I want to throw it to Sunil because I know he has to leave soon. So Sunil, go ahead real quick and throw it back to Jonathan, brother.
Yeah, I actually wanted to let you know I have to get back to a work meeting right now, so that was really why I was kind of raising my hand, fingers, and whatnot. So, yeah. But yeah, it's been real, guys. So, as far as trading for Burns and all that, I mean, see, all these trades are sort of unrealistic because, you know, we can speculate and talk about all these trades so we're blue in the face. Reality is, you know, we saw what happened with Castillo. None of them are going to happen. Because inevitably, at the end of the day, who's the GM?
Yeah. Well, with that take, Sunil just killed the open panel for the rest of the show. I'm joking. Sunil, have a great day, my brother. You already know, always welcome here. Love you, my guy.
All right, bye.
All right, peace.
And I know
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I know that Jason in the chat always wants Reynolds and Bednar, but I really do not think the Pirates are interested in the Yankees prospects to get those players. I don't think the Pirates are interested. Even if we offer them everything that we got, I don't think they're interested in Dominguez. They probably would be interested in Volpe, but the Pirates want pitching, and we traded all of our good pitchers for Montas last year. If we didn't trade for Montas last year, then I would have done a trade to get Reynolds and Bednar. I think the Montas depleted the Yankees from all their pitching prospects, and that's why I don't think we can get the Reynolds.
Maybe we could get a third team involved.
Maybe if there was a way for us to entice a third team to be in, and this is where the Yankees, they have to be able to flex their financial muscles. This is when you flex your financial muscles by getting a third team involved and get their prospects involved. If it was up to LI Yankee King, they'll get the Nationals involved and they'll get the other Corbin over there, Patrick Corbin.
Corbin for Corbin.
But I throw it. Yeah, I'd love to get a smile out of LI. I love you, my guy. But I throw it over to you, Chris, and I want to bring it back to Tats and Ivan. When it comes to Corbin Burns, what's your thoughts? Who you're giving up, and if you want to substitute Corbin Burns for someone else, who's that other player?
I think if that ever happens, the Corbin Burns thing, I think they're gonna want us to take Yelich. That I think that's, and if that's the case, I'm telling you right now, if we taking Yelich, they got to take Hicks and Donaldson. I mean, that's an even trade. I mean, that's just how it goes. And the whole Pirates and they want our prospects, but we're not. That's the one thing I give Cashman credit for. We're not stupid enough to give him everybody because he's not Juan Soto. We're not giving him Volpe, Dominguez, Peraza. No.
Right.
And the whole third team, like y'all said, like we should get another team that give them their pitching prospects. I mean, that's why we got Glaber. You can entice Glaber to one of those teams. So, and
I just want to add this. My man Ruben just messaged me right now while listening. He's like, Burns pitching only 200 innings a season isn't a bad thing. He's been building it up since 2020, since it was the shortest season. And he said, I just wanted to throw that in before I start my meeting. Appreciate you, Ruben. Have a good meeting or whatever. But Chris, you finished with your take before I throw it a tats, or you had something else to say? No.
That was it. Like I'll take Burns. I mean, like you said, Cole, Rodon, Burns, Nesta, Sevy. I mean, you can't stop that.
Yeah, that's filthy. Uncle Tat, same question going your way. When it comes to Corbin Burns, is that a player that you're willing to give up Dominguez for, if not more prospects? Go ahead.
No, I wouldn't. Those guys are too pricey. If we wouldn't give up guys like that for Reynolds, where we had a desperation for an outfielder, we didn't want to get Soto because it cost too much. But we'll give it up for, rather than trade those guys for an everyday contributor. Now we're going to trade them for a guy that's going to pitch every 5 days. Just the math of the equation doesn't add up. We've been told that these guys are going to be the future of this team. You know what? We've passed on so many trades and so many free agents for these guys. You know what? I'm done looking elsewhere. Give us what you've been telling us about how good these. Just bring them up then. Just play them. If we have to wait one more season for a World Series, what's one more year at this point? We were waiting for over a decade. One
Now,
more year. As frustrating as it's going to be, one more year is not going to kill us.
Now, this is
it'll help us for our content.
No, definitely will help us for our content, Tats, 100%. But now, this is the question that I want to ask you, right? If those prospects do not pan out, and I'm knocking on wood because I don't wish bad luck on anybody. If our next group of prospects do not pan out, are you willing to take a trip to Connecticut with myself and Caputo to kidnap Brian Cashman to actually make him make actually good decisions? Because that's what it's going to take. If these prospects don't hit, me and Caputo, we're going to be kidnapping some people. Are you on board for that?
The gas Anatols.
No, but I get it.
Pay for the hotel. I'll pay for the whole trip.
Ivan Manny, same question going your way when it comes to the Corbin Burns idea. What's your thoughts?
Count me in on that trip. I'll cut the rope while he's rappelling.
You're
all right,
you're the fourth one. You're the fourth one. Copy. Capoots, don't worry. You got
cut the rope while he's rappelling. Okay.
You got three of us. We're all three. We're going to be down to go for your kidnapping spree on Brian Cashman. Capoots, don't worry about it. Go ahead, Ivan.
25 years. No big deal.
It go like that. It go like that.
Corbin Burns would be awesome. I mean, that'd be a great move, but they're not doing it. They're not going to do it.
Lorenzo in the chat. We got a fifth one now. It's gonna be 5 of us now. Lorenzo, appreciate you.
I used to
get the car. We do the bus.
I know a good hotel.
Bus now. Yeah.
There you go. Jonathan's going to be our booking agent. Make sure we get a good hotel. I appreciate you, Jonathan. Go ahead, Ivan.
I can't see Corbin Burns happening. It just, I think that's the big fish that they should go after when he is a free agent. But I'm not so sold on Peraza. He's hitting 180 in the spring. I mean, it's I know he had that cup of coffee for a couple games, and generally teams can't hit guys when they first come up until they have a real book on them. And he did really well last year, but he's not showing so good offensively so far. And that's where I think Volpe could steal that shortstop job from him. But I don't think there's a guy in particular that's going to move the needle enough that they'd be willing to actually make that move. Unless his name is Shohei. That's the one guy, man. That guy would just change everything. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I don't think there's a one guy that can change it.
No, I totally get that. Shout out to MP in the chat as well. MP, salute to you. Appreciate you for being in the chat. I think it's the first or second time I saw you. But my man MP said, crazy giving up our young offense for another ace. We already have an ace and another ace type pitcher. Bully. No, I get what you're saying. With Rodon being injured, if the opportunity presented itself like Chris brought up, and it was a great point that you brought up, Chris, because it didn't even cross my mind. If we had to eat Christian Yelich's contract in order to make the Burns move happen, it's a move that the Yankees need to flex their financial muscle. They have the money to take on and absorb a contract like a Christian Yelich. Granted, I understand he's injured. He's an injured player right now. We may not have a spot for him in the lineup because the DH spot is secured by Giancarlo Stanton. I get that. But if it's a contract that we have to eat in order to make the trade happen, why not do it or entertain the conversation? Li, I'm going to throw it over to you because I know you probably got different trade scenarios running through your head right now. I know you was just looking on your TV playing MLB The Show and probably making trades while you was looking over to the TV. But Li, when it comes to the Burns situation and the deal, is that a move that you're making? And if it's not, what other move are you shifting to, brother?
I say Corbin Burns goes to Texas at midseason. So the Yankees ain't getting them. Because if Texas is involved and they have a better farm system than us, it's not happening.
Especially pitching.
But there was a guy we mistakenly traded to Oakland. JP Shears. I am trading back for JP Shears. Yes, do you make the Montas situation a lot worse by trading prospects to Oakland to get prospect back. Yes. But that's a risk you got to make because this bullpen don't have another left-hander. And I feel like JP Shears in the bullpen would kind of be in that Clay Holmes 2.0 mentality. That dude is going to be a Clay Holmes 2.0 if you get him in the bullpen. And, you know, the Oakland A's are waiting to move to Vegas because it's completely obvious Oakland does not want the A's anymore. So I'll give them 2 rookie ball guys. Our number 19 prospect in Luis Cernia and Shane Kierman.
Do you have like an AI over there just spitting out players to you? Because you keep looking
Chat
to the
GPT.
side like this. You got Chat GPI over GP, whatever it's called over there, helping you out, Li. Like, what is wrong with you?
No, I got the prospect list.
No, I'm joking, bro. It's all jokes. No, but
the magic 8 ball. You know, you shake it and it tells you the trade.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Why are you giving away my secrets, bro? God dang it!
Nah, but I see where you're getting at. Do I see Brian Cashman? Because him alone admitting about the Montage trade, bro, that's Christmas already not even in December, and that's already an early Christmas gift. So seeing Brian Cashman trying to like go backwards and retrade for a player that he traded away, I do not see that happening. Now, is it something that has happened before, especially with Brian Cashman? Absolutely. He traded Ruben Sierra away, and then he traded for Ruben Sierra the next year right afterwards, right? So he has a track record of trading players away and trying to trade back for them, right? So you can never say nothing can happen because anything can happen at any given moment, right? When it comes to the Christian Yelich idea, right, that's very interesting to me. I understand he's injury prone, especially with his knee. That was a nasty hit he took off the knee when he fouled the ball off the knee. It's a freak injury. You could never, that's a final destination type of injury, right? But if there was a way for us to move Harrison Bader to left field, have Judge play center field, and have Christian Yelich in right field, not every day, but twice or 2 or 3 times out the week, you may be able to get something out of Christian Yelich. You may get lightning in a bottle. He is a left-handed bat. You know how Yankee Stadium is built. It's built specifically for left-handed hitters. And Anthony Rizzo cannot be our only left-handed hitter in the bat. And I mean, in our lineup, I've said it multiple times. With all the championships that we have won, the Yankees have never won a championship with only one left-handed hitter in the lineup. Go ahead, Eli. You wanted to add on to that?
Oh, and what people aren't realizing when they say, "Oh, just take on Yelich's contract to get Burns," they are not in no way, shape, or form going to take back a Josh Donaldson or a Aaron Hicks. Because yes, they traded away Christian Yelich, but they're not going to take on our dead money. They're not going to.
No, I listen. I get that. Maybe if you were to add extra prospects, maybe Donaldson, just so the salary can match for this season alone, and next year he's off the books. And Lorenzo, when it comes to Stanton, keep Stanton as the DH, right? Like have Stanton and Christian Yelich split the time at the DH. If you can have Christian Yelich in the outfield 2 days out the week or 3 days out the week, you do that. You rotate it. Casey Funtime traded for Stephen Kwan with the Cleveland Guardians. Listen, phenomenal player, Stephen Kwan, phenomenal leadoff hitter. I don't think the Cleveland Guardians are going to be trading him no time soon. That's LI Yankee King's second favorite team besides the Yankees when it comes to Cleveland. But I'll throw it over to you, Caputis, because I see you over there. And my man Caputos, he be typing away. My man be clickety clackety, bro. No, but Caputos, get out your frustrations with this team. Just let it all out right now. I'm giving you the floor right now. Just let your frustrations be known, because one thing when it comes to Caputo and having these conversations, I know some people may think Caputo is a bit I gotta say I don't want to sound like a dick. Caputo, just his fandom is different, right? And Caputo, and I mean that with all respect in the world, you just want to see this team win.
Fan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tats. Thank you so much, because that's a lot nicer than what I was trying to say. Absolutely. But Caputo, we all want the same thing. We all want this team to win. 13 years. I agree with you, Caputo. 13 years. It's a horrible time. It's been 50 years since the Knicks won a championship, Caputo. You don't think I want the Knicks to win a goddamn championship? Absolutely. But Caputo, I'll give you the floor right now. Air out your frustrations when it comes to the office, when it comes to the front office and this team. Go ahead, and I'll throw it over to Jonathan right after. Go ahead, Caputo.
Well, there's nobody in this lineup besides Aaron Judge. That's a World Series caliber player. I mean, who in this lineup is going to push us over the top? I mean, we got too many injuries. There's about 3 or 4 guys in their mid to late 30s. You got Donaldson, you got Rizzo, you got LeMahieu, you got Stanton, Hicks. Who in this lineup is going to push us over the top to win a World Series and beat the Astros besides Judge, who, by the way, was 1 for 16 last year in the ALCS? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that player in this lineup? You better not say Stanton is always injured. Rizzo is always hurt. Who's the guy? I mean, who's the guy that's putting us over the top? Like, there's nobody in this lineup, 1 through 9, that – I mean, they're not a scary lineup. Nobody's scared of us anymore. Like, the Yankees are not a scary team the way they used to be. And don't get me started with the front office. But Brian Cashman needs to be lynched.
Whoa, okay, okay. No hate crimes here. Okay.
He's got it. Brian Cashman.
This was you just now. You was right here. You were right here, and then you brought up that like, whoa, that's how you was. But Caputo,
he just admits after 23 years that he made a mistake. He hasn't admitted his whole entire life since 1986 that he made a mistake. So now he admits 30 something years later, as the GM of this team, that he's sorry. Give me a break. I hate him. I hate him.
Tell us how you really feel.
Caputo, we just you may hate Brian Cashman. I just want you to know one thing. We love you. All right. So you may hate Cashman, but just know us here on the panel, we do love you. My man Lorenzo, hold on, I got someone in the chat. Lorenzo said, hey, not gonna lie, the things Caputo's been saying has becoming more and more truthful. We ain't lying there when it comes to that. Like when it comes to the injuries, when it comes to our team going out there paying for a play and then bring him over here and they automatically get injured. Like, you could spend your money as a franchise, but if you don't have the simple things like team doctors, or when it comes to people that just, therapy, like just the little things to help out your organization, that goes a long way as well. Jonathan, I'm gonna throw it over to you as well. Same question for Caputo. When it comes to the team, when it comes to the organization, if there's any frustrations that you have, minus the lynching, the floor is yours, Jonathan.
Well, I will always be frustrated they didn't protect Whitlock in the Rule 5 draft.
You just made Li's brain just hurt just now. Go ahead, Jonathan.
And I think, as far as for this season, I think I have a feeling they will come out not quite as hot as they were last year, but once they call up Volpe, he will provide a spark in that lineup because Volpe is the type of player they've been missing for so long, because he's fast, leadoff, young. He's almost like a young Derek Jeter with more speed. Mm-hmm. That's how he feels, at least. I need to see him play on a more consistent basis, but everything I've been seeing out of spring training and all the hype about him, it could be a good thing for a long time to come.
Yeah. No, I get it. And Tads, I know you're laughing at Sunil. Sunil makes it hard to like keep a straight face while we're on screen and stuff like that. Because Sunil, the same thing, he be in the chat spitting hot fire. Chris, the same thing going towards you. When it comes to this organization, when it comes to the front office, are there any frustrations that you do have as a Yankee fan when it comes to this team?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's the same story over and over. Oh, we ain't trading our prospects because they're gonna pan out, beat something. Oh, they're not gonna pan out to beat nothing. Oh, it's too late to trade them. It's the same story, rinse and repeat, and it's like it's getting old. And the only thing I can say, and I know it's never gonna happen because he got a lifetime deal, and I think he's married to Hal. It's Cashman. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what it is. Point blank, it's Cashman.
Yep.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong. Sometimes there's a common denominator, and the common denominator when it comes to the Yankees not succeeding, especially over these past 13 years, has been Brian Cashman. The willingness not to spend money when you have to spend money, but then going out there and spending money on Brian McCann, going out there spending money on Carlos Beltran, going out there spending money on Travis Hafner, who is damn near retired at the moment, going out there and spending money on Matt Holliday, who could even last the whole season, going out there trading Martin Prado, who is actually our best hitter in the lineup the season after you traded him away to Miami for the guy, to the Marlins for the pitcher that's not even pitching with us anymore. He's over in Texas now. I forgot his name. Help me out. Somebody help me out. He was with Boston last year.
No, that's what's his name?
Oh man, you guys know who he is.
I can see him.
The big ears, the stupid ass big ears, looking like Dumbo on the mound. Oh my god, he was with Boston last year. He went to Texas this season.
Evaldi?
Yes, Nathan Evaldi. Trading Martin Prado, who was a 300 hitter with us for him. Yes, no, yeah. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Tats, same question going your way. When it comes to the front office, when it comes to the organization, are there any frustrations that you have?
No, my frustration was, it's more in-house with us as fans. Mm-hmm. We want so many different things to get to the same goal. Where when Soto was on the market, we can't get rid of our guys. This is our future. This is our future. I wanted Soto so bad. I talked about it on my channel with my guys all the time. I'm like, if there was ever a player to trade Peraza and Dominguez and these guys for, it was Soto, because it would have really solidified the outfield and given a window for Hicks to be a fourth outfielder off the bench. But nobody wanted to pull the trigger because these guys were the future. And like I said when I came on, if we're going to hold back these guys from improving this lineup, like Caputo wants so bad, and Caputo, I'm with you. I love your passion, but they haven't traded them yet. Just my frustration. Why are you holding back on these guys? Why did you send Dominguez down? What, to make IKF a fourth outfielder? It's BS. It really is.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating. I'm so frustrated. I guarantee you, but after the first month of the season, Caputo and I will be like twins, because I'll be disgusted.
You got to Tats, if me and you acting like Caputo after the first month of the season allows us to grow here, sign me up for it, because I'll act like Caputo for the rest of the season. Go ahead. Chris, I see you wanted to add something. I'll let you go and then throw it over to Jonathan to add something before I toss it over to Ivan. Go ahead, Chris. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, with the whole Soto thing and the whole future, Soto could have been our future. When Cashman is dumb, like that doesn't make sense. Like, how old Soto is when that trade happened? 23?
24.
Yeah.
Like he's not that old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it just doesn't make sense. Like why not?
If you look at it, he's like probably a year or two older than Volpe.
And I'll bring this up too. What does he have that most of the Yankees don't have? He has a chip.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't giving you the middle finger. I was putting a ring on my finger. Yeah. I wasn't giving you the middle finger, Chris. I swear to God.
We had Judge and Soto together.
Yeah, I promise, Chris, I wasn't giving you the middle finger.
No, you good. You good. I know how you feel. I know you feel.
No, Chris. Honestly, I did it. When I did it, I was like, oh, where's my ring at? Oh, it's on this finger. Go ahead, Jonathan. You wanted to add something to it?
Another thing, going back even further, a couple of years, we could have had Harper instead of trading for Stanton. And Harper would have provided the power lefty that to in this current lineup. We don't have a power lefty. And going back to Babe Ruth all the way to 2009, we've always had a power lefty bat to round up the lineup.
What about Manny Machado?
Great point.
Manny Machado is not a lefty.
No, but he's just saying he's like the same offseason. Harper and Machado, we could have went out of both of them. I agree. Yeah,
I would have signed Harper instead of Machado because he was a lefty and he was an outfielder.
Yeah, but also as well, when it comes to the Bryce Harper thing, Ivan, I throw it over to you. When it comes to Bryce Harper, when we went to Washington to play against the Nationals, Bryce Harper shaved his face and he played first base to show the Yankees, hey, I'm not just an outfielder, I could play first base as well. Ivan, I'll throw it over to you, Ivan. When it comes to the frustrations, or if any frustrations you have, what are they with this organization? Go ahead, brother.
There's plenty of missed moves that we could have, would have, should have, could have. It's hard to just hang on that. I'm looking at the positives, and they're hard to see sometimes. You know what I mean? They're sadly Soto. I don't know if San Diego is going to be able to afford Soto. They just gave Bogarts, Tatis, and Machado that kind of money. What are they going to pay?
And you Darvish. They're paying
they're
him.
going to pay 5 guys $30 million a year. It's not happening. Yeah, I mean, I think this. I think Soto is going to go to the highest bidder. I don't think it's going to be San Diego. I mean,
I would hope the Yankees.
We keep hoping that the prospects come up because we have that dream of '96 embedded in our head of all these young players coming up and making such a difference. The thing is, we really didn't expect them to make the difference that they did. Jeter was a highly rated prospect, but he struggled a little bit. But nobody expected Andy Pettitte to be as good as Andy Pettitte was, or Posada. They were good guys in the system, but they weren't like top-rated guys in the league as far as prospects. So I'd be happy if they Volpe pans out. The other guys is going to be a bonus to me, if it happens, because we've had one good prospect come up in Aaron Judge that actually panned out to be a superstar. You know what I mean? Dominguez looks great. It was against AAA pitching, and we'll see. He's still young. That maturity still has to come because I've seen a lot of young guys come up, hit the hell out of the ball, and then just be immature and not be able to handle New York. Like AKA Gary Sanchez. The reality is that we just got to work through this season, get Josh Dumbleson off the roster there, get find Hicks somewhere to go, and rework the team just slightly. I'm not opposed to keeping Torres this year because I know the guy can at least hit. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping to get through this season and make a run at it as best we can, and then they have room to move again, room to breathe. Some guys to make some moves and different look again. Being frustrated with Cashman, I mean, we're all frustrated with Cashman. It's just the way it is, and we're stuck with him, So we just got to just push forward and be positive and hope that we have health this year so that we can get some good, a good run going at it.
Yeah. 100% agree, Ivan. TC, my co-host, I'm gonna throw it over to you, brother. When it comes to the frustrations, or if you have any frustrations with this organization, please lay it out for the choir and for us children watching you right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, there's many frustrations. It does stem from Cashman. It does also involve the analytic team. Sticking by all those analytics. We got to get away from that. I'm just frustrated watching the team, watching them leave so many men on base, not moving runners or bunting men over, or just doing the station to station, and it just getting old. We need younger, athletic players, and Cashman, yeah, he had the chances. We could have had Correa, we could have had Shell at third. We could have had Castillo instead of Montas. I mean, yeah, you could go on and on and on about what we should have had and how to build a team. And he needs to learn how to do that, unless he just step away, which we would all love to see, but that's not going to happen. But just a different approach. It's just I got to see some change here. We can't run the same lineup out there every single year and expect things to change. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely agree, TC Stills. Now, we're getting close to the time that we wrap it up, but I want to do just a rapid spitfire real quick. I'm going to just throw 2 names out there when it comes to should the Yankees invest their money or go out there and sign them when they hit free agency. I'm going to throw 2 names out there. I'm going to start over with Li, make my way to Caputs, Jonathan, Chris, Tats, and then Ivan. So Li, I'm going to start with you. And I'm putting you on the spot because you're the first one to get it. And no one else is going to hear it. But I'm going to start off with you, Li. Now, everybody, you guys have time to think about it. If you were the GM for the Yankees and these 2 free agents hit the market right now, they're going to be hitting the market in the next couple of years, but who are you willing to give or invest the big money into in years? Juan Soto or Shohei Otani? Start with you, Li. Rapid, and then Caputo, Jonathan, Chris, Tats, and Ivan. Go ahead, Li.
Soto.
Caputo,
100%.
Soto, Shohei Otani. If you had to choose one, who are you choosing? Goddamn, I never thought I have a quiet Caputo. Can you hear me, Caputo?
Oh, I didn't know I was up. Otani.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Caputo. Sorry, Caputo. Yeah, Caputo, if you had to choose Otani or Soto, who are you choosing?
Oh, Otani.
Copy. Sorry, Caputo. Jonathan, same question going your way. When it comes to Otani or Soto, which one are you choosing?
I'm raising George Steinbrenner back from the dead, and I'm signing both of them.
Oh, you can't. You have to choose one. You have to choose one because if that was the case, Caputo would sign both of them, right? So you had to choose one. Soto or Otani.
Right, that was a good answer.
That was a good answer.
I mean, I like Soto better because he's young, but Otani, I like the fact that he can pitch and pitch well.
Mm-hmm. And I know, and I know Adam Land, my man Adam Landsman in the building. He does bring up a great point. Stanton is on this team, and we will be here for 4 years. I do understand that, Alan, but I'm saying hypothetical, which means that if we sign Otani, we're able to get off of Stanton. I do understand what you're saying because realistically, it will be hard for us to bring in Otani while Stanton is still on the roster. So I do get that, Alan. I'm speaking hypothetically if we were able to have the opportunity. So you said which one? You said Otani, Jonathan?
Otani.
Okay, so we got 2 for Otani and 1 for Soto.
Loophole.
Yeah, a great loophole. Christopher Flash, same question going your way. If you had to choose, brother, one of the 2, Otani or Soto, who are you signing?
How old is Otani?
Otani. Hold on. It's a great question.
28.
I'll tell you right now, 28 years old. He turns 29 next year, actually. No, he turns 29 July 5th of this year.
It's 5 years older than Soto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take Soto.
Okay, so we tied up 2-2. Uncle Tat, same question going your way.
Soto, I love him as a player, and I was begging for him for the longest time. I can't just back away. If he's gonna be a free agent, I want Soto all the time.
Mm-hmm.
3-2. Ivan, it's a lot of pressure. It's 3-2 right now. So it's in Soto's
Line it
favor.
up, man. Shohei's the best player in the game.
Okay, so we tied.
He's the best player in the game. And he affects both sides of the ball, not just one.
No, I agree with you, Ivan. The pressure is on my co-host TC Stills now. We are tied 3-3. TC, you are on the clock. If you had to choose Soto or Otani, and just know this: the Yankee fandom, our mental state is in your hands. So pick wisely.
It's a tough decision, but if I'm going to get a pitcher out of it, I'm going to go Otani because look at what he did in the WBC. He came in and closed the game out. I mean, Soto can't do that, but hey,
yeah,
I'm going to get the benefits of a pitcher.
Yeah, and if I had to choose, as much as I love Juan Soto and would love to see him in the Bronx and understand the cultural aspect of having a Dominican player like Juan Soto in the Bronx, I would have to go with Shohei Otani. Shohei Otani, his performance in the World Baseball Classic won me over. He literally won me over that World Baseball Classic. He is literally the best player in the world right now. honestly, when it comes to Shohei Otani. Just understand us fellas that we are on the panel right now. And for the people in the chat that are watching, and people, if you're watching on the replay, when it comes to the conversation about Shohei Otani, just know one thing: enjoy what you're watching, because this is literally historic. I'm not sure if we're ever going to see a player that's that impactful like Shohei Otani from both sides of the game, from the hitting aspect of the game and from the pitching aspect of the game. He's literally threw a 102-mile-per-hour fastball with a slider that broke at like 91. It was filthy against Mike Trout. Eli, you got any last words to throw out there before we dip out?
Oh, can I get my frustration, since I didn't when we had that go around on the frustration?
Oh, you didn't? I apologize, Eli. I'm so sorry. I thought you did. My apologies. Go ahead, Eli.
Even though we all know
he sat up for that. He sat up for that shit. Go ahead, Eli.
Even though we all know I do not like Cashman whatsoever. Cashman is one of the worst GMs in baseball. I will stick by that till my grave, because let's be honest, I'll be dead by the time Cashman's retired as a GM. But Cashman is a walking, talking contradiction. Oh, I want to get younger and more athletic. Yet I'm playing 235. Yet I have a team full of mid-30-year-olds. Huh? I can't trade. I can't trade DJ. I can't trade JD. I can't trade Hickson. I'm not creative enough. I can't get out of some contracts because I have no brain cells besides one brain cell of a mouse that runs in a circle 2 miles per hour in my brain. But why in the hell do you decide, oh, I want to get younger and more athletic? Josh Donaldson, he's 35 years old, or 36 at the time. We have Gio Urshela. Yeah, screw you, Gio. Donaldson, yeah, because 35 is a smaller number than 29. That makes total sense. Come here. IKF, get over here, even though you can't play shortstop, because we're just going to screw you up and play shortstop anyway. And there's this Ben Rortvedt guy who's a left-handed catcher, may or may not exist, and let me bring him in. Oh, Oakland, you have an injured pitcher. Let me give you my 3 top pitching prospects that I'm probably going to meet this offseason, because Frankie Montas is going to be out for the season. Anyway, how in the hell does this dude get a 4-year extension? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, because you're literally a GM that's living off the back of Stick Michael and can't do a job by yourself, or couldn't run a freaking target. You would run a target into the ground. And Target is basically where all the white chicks go that want to get away from their husband.
Shout out to all the Target workers. Shout out to Target. Shout out to the Target workers and anybody who hangs out in the food court.
But Cashman, my God. Okay, Cashman, I'm speaking to you directly. I don't care what anybody in the fan base says. I don't care what anybody says. Do what is needed. Get Volpe to third base. Get Peraza to shortstop. Now, I will agree to you, trading for Soto would have screwed up your plan. It would have screwed it up, I'm going to admit. Your ego relies on the 3 guys in Volpe, Dominguez, Peraza. Now, sending Dominguez down was a good idea. He had 40 ABs max in Double-A. Give him a little bit in Double-A. But my God, it'd be inexcusable. It would be absolutely inexcusable to put Volpe down in the minors or Peraza down in the minors just because, oh, what? The fans are going to complain that, oh, he's hitting Woody too. He's been training. Like we haven't seen a good spring training before to turn into a dud season. Yeah. Kyle Higashioka, my former favorite Yankee, Greg Bird, was a bust because he got
that was your former favorite Yankee was Greg Bird?
Yes.
Yeah. Li, one thing I'm gonna say is when it comes to promos as a heel, that's your lane. You need to do more heel promos as a wrestler. That's your lane right there. Just so everybody knows.
Justin.
And sing.
That was a little aiding Kaiba coming out.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was a little wild just now. That's a little wild.
That was
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out my man Vikings in the chat. Appreciate you. Salute, 3 capital S's. Adam Landsman, he said top MLB values per Forbes. Yankees 7.1 billion. You guys remember last year when I did like the whole
billion in 1 year?
Last year the Yankees were valued at 6.6 billion. So we went up 500 million during last year and now. Last year we was at 6.6 billion. But guys, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate for you fellas joining the open panel. Like always, you guys know it's an open door policy. My boy Caputis, you know I love you. Jonathan, I love you. Krista Flash, I love you. Uncle Tats, you know it's just all love over here. Sugar Tits, right? When it comes to we are 7 days away, Yankee fans. 7 days away. Shout out to everybody in the chat as well. TC Stills, my co-host for the day. Any last words before we dip out, brother?
Let's just hope nobody gets hurt from now until the start of the season, and let's get it. Let's go.
Copy. And Steve Schumann to break the ice, he said Otani. So I appreciate you, Stevie Schumann, for that one. And like always, guys, go ahead, Krista Flash.
This is gonna make you excited, Hector. I can't wait to watch the Power Ranger special.
Oh, once and always, baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait.
So
I'm
kind of excited
definitely
for
going
that.
to be doing a reaction video on my channel when that drops. So make sure you guys tune in. I think it's April 18th or April 28th, one of those days.
Yeah.
But tune in. But guys, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like I said, Li, Jonathan, Caputos, Uncle Tat, Ivan, also Ruben, who was also here as well. Appreciate everybody. If you guys can, please make sure you follow the
Hector.
Pinstripe Chronicles. Please follow Uncle Tats. Please follow my guy, Krista Flash. Please follow Mikey Maz and the 4 Train Express. All these other Yankee content creators that are in the community. NYY News TV when it comes to Pete Simonetti. NYY News Ruben. NYY News Felix. It's a bunch of NYY News going all over the place, right? But just know NYY News TV will be having their early season predictions next week. Get Yanked is this Friday. If you guys didn't see the conversation we had with Jerry Ferrara yesterday on the Yankees Morning Brew, make sure you go back into the channel. We had Jerry Ferrara on the channel. We was having a great conversation when it comes to the Knicks. That's my guy, Jerry Ferrara. But like always, peace, salutation. And if you guys see Aaron Hicks out there, just smack him upside the head and make sure you say Ally Yankee King said hi.